Hey, Sam Melson coming to you live from Precious World home bedroom. I know this might be a little weird. Wife might be a little bit mad, but for those that are following me and paying attention to me, I actually am doing this to make a point. Just waking up this morning. But I'm Sam Melson, Real Estate Duru, not your guru. It's my mission to try to help you out if you hadn't gotten your first deal or your second deal yet. Want to just try to drop some knowledge to you that might be able to help you out. And I know how it feels, again, if you've been through those seminars where you spent $20, $30, $40, $50,000 and yet you still haven't gotten your first deal. You've been studying on YouTube University, still haven't gotten your first deal. So I just want to, my mentors told me it's time to reach one, teach one. And so I want to kind of talk to you today of what could be a hurdle and what you need to be aware of if you're trying to get into the real estate investing game. So I want to talk to you today about time management and time availability. Very key in this business because there's with regards to real estate and these seminars, you see a lot of folks talking about the time freedom and the passive income and enjoying life and waking up late, kind of like what I did today, or and all of that. But there's another side to time management and time freedom, and that is your availability to make a deal happen, your availability to get engaged with a seller, your availability to get the things done that is necessary to get it done, because it's not just going to automatically happen, and being flexible to do that. I know I happen to be full-time in this investment arena, but I know that there's a lot of you that are working day jobs and working jobs that takes up your time while you're on the job and you're trying to do the real estate thing on the side, which, nothing against that, but I want to let you know some of the hurdles that you might be facing in trying to do that. And that is, when you get a call, when you get a lead from a seller, you got to strike when the lead is hot. There's been many times where I've gotten a call and pretty much dropped what I was doing just to go and visit with that seller, because you know what they say, Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. Here's the thing, especially I'm in one of the hottest markets in the country, here in Austin, Texas, and there's a lot of competition against others that are also in this space. And we've got gurus here that are putting on these seminars. We got folks that travels the country putting on these seminars and really just saturated the market with a bunch of so-called real estate investor types that's trying to get in the game. So there's a lot of competition here, and definitely, and again, we're the hottest because we've got 150 people moving here every day for the last 5-6 years. That was the last stat. We were rated the #1 city, #1 place to live in the country for the 3rd year in a row again. That's on Forbes or whatever. But here's the thing. So you're competing against other folks that's also in the space, and you need to be able to be available. And when that seller calls, you need to be able to get to them, before the next. When that seller is available. And you have to consider that your seller is your customer. No business will thrive without any customers. Zero. If you don't have any customers, you don't have a business. In order to take care of your customer, you need to be available to your customer. Now, you can be fancy and have, hours from 8 to 5 or 9 to 6. You can be fancy like that and say you're not taking any calls outside of those things. And for those that are very, very successful and already got a business going and you've done a few thousand deals or whatever, and you can do it that way, you can afford to lose, then that works. For those that are trying to get their first deal, I'm gonna tell you, it won't work. You need to be available, and I know if you got a day job, that could somewhat be a hurdle. But I'm not telling you to quit your job. What I'm telling you is you just need to be mindful that when you get a call, they're calling. You may not be the only one they're calling. There may be other letters that they're responding to, other videos that they're responding to, other bandit signs or whatever that they're responding to, or however you do your marketing. Even if you're knocking doors, there's others out there knocking doors, and so you're competing against that. Everybody wants to so-called get into real estate, and there's only a few that really makes it happen. And the few that makes it happen are those that see it through the end, that put in the due diligence, that put in the work. So if you're thinking you're trying to get the passive life and the passive income and the large paycheck and little work and things of that nature, won't happen. You have to be available. I'm waking up late because I was up late last night working on the contract. I couldn't work on the contract until late because of not getting done really talking with that seller and really identifying what the seller wanted and how we can come together, and we're going to get that contract delivered to her today. That's just part of this business. Now, does this happen every day? Absolutely not. And so time freedom and all that kind of thing, yeah, grateful. That's a good thing, and you got time, but it's not always that way. When it comes down to doing the work, you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible. You have to be able to get engaged. Not only that, all of the peripheral duties that's responsible, other than just talking with the seller. You've got to do your due diligence. You got to make sure you're looking at these properties and doing your assessments. You got to sit down and put the contract together. The seller's not going to do it for you. You have to know how to do it, and you have to get it done. You have to get it delivered to the seller. And guess what? If you're really smart, you want to explain the contract to the seller. You just don't want to send it in DocuSign and expect them to understand it all, because guess what? They can get scared because of all the legalistic stuff that's in it, not knowing, and not sign off on it. So I tend to make sure when I send a contract, I have the time to explain the contract line by line, precept by precept, so they understand what they're signing, so they can also see that it's also what we've already talked about. So from a time management, time engagement, time freedom, things of that nature, I know typically many of you always hear about the luxuries of life when it comes to time freedom. I want to kind of give you the dark end, the dark side of it. And it's not dark, it's just this is a business, and the business requires work. And the work can be any time of the day. There's been many times that I've been sitting with the seller in their home, 8 o'clock at night, negotiating, talking, hearing their story, and here it's midnight, and we're just now coming together on how we want to help them out, and now I'm drawing up the contract at 1 in the morning, and they're signing off at 1:30, and then I come on home, and guess what? I might sleep in that day and wake up at 11 a.m. Like I think the current time is or whatever. But you want to be flexible. So how does that work if you work in a day job? Well, I don't know what to tell you on that. When I started my business, I started full time, but I actually had capital and had some liquid that I was able to live off of until I've been able to get some traction. So I can't necessarily speak to with any assurity how to do this business while you're working a day job. Although I do know that there are folks in the game that has a day job and they do this on the side. I do know that. I've got friends and contacts that I know does it, but I also know that in their situation, they're not necessarily doing the marketing and engage with marketing to find a motivated seller. They're typically buying from some wholesaler that already has the property under contract, and they're typically buying from them. The ones that I know, they're typically buying from someone that's already done the marketing, engaged with the seller and all this kind of stuff, and they're buying. So they can typically step away from the job, talk to me or whoever the wholesaler is, make the deal, and then going back to their job. Now, so if you got capital like that and you're trying to buy wholesale properties, it could possibly work if you're working a day job. However, if you've never bought in the game, I've got a different video dealing with that. I do not recommend that if you have capital and you haven't done your first deal, I do not recommend buying property. And I'll tell you in a different setting and video topic what my recommendations are. I don't recommend you buying property right away, especially if it's your first time, etc. But the point that I want to make is, if you are trying to be a wholesaler, you definitely have to have a marketing system. You definitely have to be responsive to the leads that are coming in, and you definitely have to be available that's convenient for your customer, your client, your lead, because without you being a service to them that's convenient for them, you can lose. And so if you have not gotten your first deal or even your second deal and you're kind of struggling, I have a passion to try to help you out. I hope this was a great nugget for you. I'll be honest again, it's very, 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 very difficult to get into this business without a mentor. And I would definitely encourage you to reach out. And if you need some help, feel free to look me up, PM me, DM me. I'm not the big social media fancy guy, but I know I'm on all the platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. So you can find a way to send me a message, or you can email me at info@preciousworld.net. That's info@preciousworld.net. Let me know the area of the country that you're in, and what is it that you're struggling with, and how I can help you. And I'll reach back out to you and see what we can do to kind of get you going. Goal is to get you through your first deal, your second deal. I can only take on a handful at a time because I'm actually a Duru. I'm actually in the game myself. I'm not a guru just putting on seminars and classes and living off of that. That's not what I do. I'm actually in the game, in the streets, doing it every day myself. So I can only take on a handful of folks at a time when I'm in doing the mentoring or whatever, because it takes a number of calls and having access to me, and you might have access to me while I'm in the middle of something for my own business, but I do want to help. My mentor has told me it's time to reach one, teach one. So that's what I'm doing right now, is availing myself. And at the time of this video, I am able to take on a few more mentees. So I want to encourage you to reach out by PM, DM, or whatever. Hopefully you'll find this nugget helpful, get your mind right for the game that you're trying to get into. Otherwise, if you can't make the time to do it, get out. Don't waste your time. This thing can be a money pit. You're spending all your money going to all these seminars and taking all these courses and buying everybody's courses and all this. At the end of the day, if you're not doing it, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. Nothing wrong with that. Real estate's not for everybody. Everybody likes real estate when you talk to them, but it's not for everybody, because it's a hard niche. But for those that do put in the work, the rewards are very, very nice, very well. And so I don't want to discourage you either. I just want to give you the real facts, not the glitz and the glam, not trying to get you to, buy a course or anything like that. I just try to help you out, because I've been there. I was one that spent $50,000 for a seminar, coming out of that seminar knowing really not how really to get started. It took me 10 months to get my first deal. And I would tell you, my first deal came by way of having a partner and a mentor. And everyone else that I know has done the same thing. And I would also tell you this: every seasoned investor that I've seen, and I'm talking even the millionaires that I've seen, even in my local community and even in other communities that I've traveled to, they all have partners as well as mentors. So if you think you're trying to do this without leadership, good luck. In the words of Liam Neeson on Taken, good luck. But if you're really serious, you need to invest in yourself, in getting the knowledge that you need, but you don't want to be stuck in the education loop. The best way to do it is to have a mentor partner, not to mention the divide and conquer ability of a mentor and a partner. So from a time management standpoint, I want to let you know that if you have been struggling to get your first deal or even your second deal, you've been really struggling trying to get that done, it could have something to do with your availability. It could have something to do with your response. It could have something to do with your follow-up and engagement. Because if you're not on top of your game, you will lose. And there's no nice way of putting it. You need to be on top of this. You need to be responsive to your sellers. You need to be responsive to your follow-up. I've had leads that I've lost because I didn't get to in time. A number of leads. By the way, I've done a little north of 100 transactions over the last 4 to almost 5 years, I think. And there's been leads that I've gotten that I've lost. Lost because I didn't get to it in time. They got upset because I was too slow. So they went with somebody else. Somebody else reached out to them. I had one lead that they actually signed the house over to the mortgage company. They were behind in their mortgage because they were trying to take care of an ill father and just wanted to get rid of the house so she can get to her father. And because I took too long to get to her, and I can give you every excuse in the book as to why I didn't get there, but I lost probably about $10,000-$15,000 of an opportunity there. There was a deal I could have got into for about $3,000, probably got $10,000 out of it. And I lost it because she was not patient enough for me, or I was, more importantly, not responsive enough to her, that she needed to take care of her dad. And so she told the mortgage company, here, I'm going to just sign this back over to you guys. And when I called her, was ready to close, she said, I hadn't heard from you, I took too long, and she needed to get gone. And if I wanted to sue her, I could. I'm not going to sue her. But I legally could have because we were under contract. But I didn't keep up with her. I didn't keep her in the loop on things. I didn't keep a follow-up process with her to keep her comfortable. And that was a deal I should not have lost. Of course, I've learned from that, and I hope that helps you as well. But time management is very, very important. And I know these seminars also talk about time management from, having CRMs and, what they call customer relations management systems, where you can put all your leads in and have action items as to what you need to do with each lead and all this stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you and you doing your action first. Before you can get to that level, in order to get your first deal, it's all about you doing your part, the humanistic touch points that you need to be involved in to do this. So I'm already kind of late in my day, so I'm getting ready to wrap this up because I've got some other things I need to follow up on, but I wanted to make this quick video to give you guys an idea of the real life, not the TV life, but the real life of being in the investor world. And I hope this helps. Reach out, and until then, I'll be happy to try to respond to you personally. But until then, I'll see you at the top, because the bottom sure is crowded. God bless. See ya.